Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of At Home with Jen. Today we're going to be talking about the Quarantine 15. I am sure you've seen memes and information about this all over social media. In fact, Psychology Today has written an article about the trend of gaining weight during our pandemic, and that people equate food as a way of dealing with stress, and in reality, we're choosing the wrong foods that are causing even more stress on top of the worldly stress. So today we're speaking to one of my dear friends, Andrew Muto, who is a wellness chef and food director at Umani. And he's going to be talking to us about food and mood and choices that we can make within our own kitchens to help us feel more grounded, hormonally balanced, and more equipped to deal with our new normal. Stay tuned. Andrew, welcome to At Home with Jen. Welcome, welcome.
Hey Jen, nice to see you again.
It's always great to have friends in the right places, and I consider you a dear friend.
Appreciate that.
With huge knowledge around food. And what I love is that you have such a great delivery, Andrew, of food, and you're articulate, but you're so passionate about it that you have this gift of breaking through the academics around it so that people can really relate to what you're sharing.
Well, you know what, I think that's probably one of the best definitions I've heard, because we get so caught up in the information of food that we forget that we're human beings and we were made to enjoy food for as much as anything else. And then the benefits were, it was good for us.
Well, I'm so glad to be speaking with you today. But before we get started, I would love for you to share a little bit to the audience of who you are, what you do, and how you serve.
Wow. Okay. So again, first and foremost, I am a father and a husband, first and foremost. And all my experience in food is a result of being a son to a woman that was born in the 20s. My mom was born in the 20s. And so coming out of the war, I wasn't born obviously after the war, but much later on, like in 1989, just joking. But when I was born, I was given all this knowledge that they had. And so my career in food started from that, from being post-Second World War parents. I had so much information relayed to me as a son. And then when I became a father and a husband, I just continued on that and took my cooking into the elements of helping my family, but doing it through good food. And then I have family members with special needs. And so that in itself has also taught me how food is correlated to our well-being. And I looked after my dad who had Alzheimer's. And so my career really has been as a human being, as a father, son, and husband, but as much as a caregiver. Mm-hmm. All those elements together have made me, I guess, what I call a wellness chef. And now I inspire people to eat just simple, good quality foods. And that inspiration has gone into professional sports with NHL players, NBA players, Cleveland, CFL players, some NFL players and teams and so forth, and even local minor sports. But all of it is viewed as we're all human beings and we all need food to help support who we are, whatever we're performing in, whether in life, whether as a mother, as a father, or whether as a professional athlete. And that's my story.
Well, I love your story, and we need you more than ever. We do. We do. We were talking off of this episode before getting started about like stress. And even though many of us are so fortunate to be working, we now have such blurred lines in terms of boundaries. Even if we do our best to keep the boundaries, this, constantly goes off. Even though I don't get notifications other than text, it's the constant demands now that if we are fortunate people that are working, the demands are so
overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelming in terms of, okay, I need to reach you, and I need to reach you on the weekend, and I need to reach you at the night, and I need to reach you at 7 a.m. And that has to wreak on our bodies and wreak havoc on our bodies. So yes, we are the fortunate ones, but I'm hoping that today you can help us, men and women, around food and mood, because I was sharing prior to in your intro Psychology Today has actually done an episode and written about quarantine 15 and how this has become a serious issue of people gaining so much weight during COVID because we're just trying to cope, but we're choosing the wrong foods.
Yeah, it's true. And I was a victim of that for the first month. Of being honest with you, I'm still, like I said, a human being.
Sure.
And at first this is great. I just keep eating. Then I thought, hold on, what am I doing? I was starting to put on weight. And so, and then I think what happens is our coping mechanisms are, and my wife always says it to me, I'm an emotional eater. Right?
Yes, yes.
And I understand it because I have had to deal with stress in my family as well, as everybody else has. Being who you are, Jen, and the work that you do, which is outstanding, because it's not just a one thing, it's a whole segment of things that contribute to our well-being. One thing I had to do was get back to working out. Without joining a gym and without buying thousands of dollars of equipment, just my own body weights and routines that help to strengthen my body rather than have me become muscular. Because at 56, I don't think I need to look like a guy who's 25. It doesn't happen, right?
But you look fabulous.
Well, we're trying, right? We're trying. Because you know what? That commercial, that one about the Canadian government put out about what do the last 10 years of your life look like. Remember that commercial?
Yes.
And so you can be in a wheelchair or you can be enjoying activities. Your choice is yours. And so I've had to make adjustments and making sure that I was keeping myself active every day. And I made it a point that that's it. At 4 o'clock, come whatever may come, I'm going to be doing at least 45 minutes of some sort of exercise. With bike riding, it doesn't matter. There were no more bikes at Canadian Tire. Everybody bought bikes all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're gone. Bikes, skates.
$120 bike is now $400.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, it's just interesting how the pendulum is swinging. But I love that you brought up, and we talked about this again off camera, that there was a time where my stress level was so high and I gained 20 pounds. And I could not, and I'm a woman in my 50s, I could not get that to drop to save my life. And I went through a period where I felt embarrassed because I knew everything I should be doing,
That's right.
but nothing worked until I reframed my boundaries. I started a workout program that had just simply my body as resistance. I forgot the weights. I calmed my nervous system down, and voila.
You look great as always.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. But just sharing that sometimes we have to, hopefully the people that are watching are open to receive that. Often for change, we have to shift our perspective of how we see things. So I know today you're going to share with us a recipe that is easier, shall we say, for our type of people, not chefs, not wellness chefs, to make at home to help us with our moods and food.
Sure. And there's a lot of foods. The things that we're featuring are things that are high in something called tryptophan, something that is high in magnesium, which is all calming, affecting mood, right? But I must say, so I'm going to show you how to make what we call bark. Bark, chocolate bark, and I've also have some chocolate dipped things. But this isn't your chocolate that's commercially made and processed and so forth. This is unprocessed raw cacao powder from the plant. So this is called this is cacao butter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cacao butter.
Where would you get that, Andrew? Where would you buy that?
You can get that at any natural food stores.
Okay.
Don't know if grocery stores will carry this. It's a special item.
Okay.
But it's easy to find. Every health food store has it. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Everybody has that, right? And the powder that goes with it. And this is the powder. And the powder, again, is unprocessed. So they're high in all the antioxidants. They're high in the tryptophan. They're high in all the elements that you need your body for your cardiovascular system, and also for helping your brain to click into chill mode. Pumpkin seeds, high in magnesium. Magnesium relaxes the muscles, right? So another element. So we're going to put it all together.
Okay.
It's simple. I mean, oh my gosh, this can't be, I literally could time this to be less than 5 minutes. All right. So here's first of all, I'm gonna take my butter, and I have my little frying pan here, and it's heating up because I want to keep it at a heat that doesn't compromise the nutrition. So I want to put it at 400 degrees. It's going to be at about 115, 120 degrees. It's probably what it is right now, and it melts. I'll melt it slowly while we chat.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'll let that go, and I'll show you how to do each step. It's so simple.
And I am going to ask you if you can send me the recipe if you're willing to.
Yes.
Then I'll put it in the newsletter and share it on social.
Of course.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to do and the beauty of this recipe is that you can use whatever you like, whatever ingredient. If you want to do pumpkin seeds, you use pumpkin seeds. I have some coconut, which is nice. You can use some fresh toasted coconut. You can use fresh fruits. Peaches are in season now. Whatever you choose for flavor-wise, whatever profile. Or maybe, you know what, maybe you want to relax and have a nice glass of wine or a cup of tea. And so maybe the wine you have is a white one that would go well with peaches. So
nice.
have peaches in the raw cacao bark with a nice glass of wine. You let it set, you go upstairs on the balcony, you shut the door behind you, put on some piano music, and you just watch the clouds and enjoy some wine and some chocolate.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
You had me at peaches. Yes, it's very nice.
So the simple of it is I put some chocolate or some cacao, inside the bowl. All right. And honestly, like we want to know sweet, right? You said just a little bit. This is good old. I have to give a shout out to Quebec. Quebec makes some very good syrup.
Maple syrup.
If you're a diabetic, I would suggest you use xylitol.
Okay.
Xylitol is very good. And you notice I have this slow pouring maple syrup. Because you know what the habit is, right? You know when you used to go to, what are those places? The Pancake House?
Yeah, we like to soak our pancakes.
It's like you get 40 pounds of it. Hey,
That's smart. That's a smart tool.
Put some energy into this. So basically what I do is I just pour the butter into my cacao. Oh my goodness, can you get any simpler than that? Look.
Oh, that's very simple. Oh, that looks so good.
Done. So now, again, may I taste it?
Yes.
Nice.
Good.
Very nice.
Good.
I don't know how that happens. Every time it comes out okay. I'm going to put that there. This is how simple it is, Jen. I'm going to take some pumpkin seeds and some, move this out of the way. I'm going to bring it close to you so you can see it. Excuse me. Stay there.
Wow. That is easy because we sometimes tend to think, Andrew, that eating healthy is expensive and laborious. And I love that you are constantly showing ways of simplifying and busting that myth.
All you have to do is just take this out and set it in the fridge. Or even let it.
Wow. That is fast.
And because it's raw cacao butter, it'll lift from the plate. The plate won't even be dirty. It will not even be dirty. Slightly oily. But it'll all be gone.
I happen to have some samples here.
All right. So I've done 3. And I've sent you. Which one do you have? The blueberry?
I have the blueberry.
Okay.
I've been waiting to try this.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, that's fresh blueberries on top of raw cacao. Where's my camera? Oh, there it is. Right
there you are. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, Andrew, it's so good.
And the blueberries just pop in your mouth.
Yum, yum, yum.
Mm.
And this one is called the Stress Less. I'm hung up on the name. Now, with the Stress Less, and because this is so good, we need your guidance in terms of servings. Because if we're stressed, we can potentially eat this whole tray.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. Because let's say you have an argument with somebody or you had a bad day, bad experience. Mm-hmm. eating a truck full of, or a plate full of this chocolate is not going to make your stress better.
Darn it.
You're going to get a stomachache. You're going to get heartburn. So as we were discussing this actually before we came online, was that wellness is like a mosaic. When back in the days of ancient Rome, when they were doing the mosaics, you couldn't tell on the first day what the picture was going to be. But as the pieces were added, eventually you could see what they were trying. It was a beautiful fish, right? With coral and jade stones and aquamarine stones. With health and wellness, it's the same thing. It's not one item of food. Food is not the only thing that contributes to our well-being, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical. It's a whole thing. And that's why the expression holistic health comes into effect. Mm-hmm. So there's good food that is clean, like this one here. But there's also your ability to deflect stress, the ability to work out, exercise, get activity into your life, being in a good relationship with whoever, your family, your friends, your spouse, your mate, your partner, whoever. All those elements add to your well-being. If you take any of them away, and stress, it just doesn't work. You cannot. It doesn't work. I
love that you brought that up, because when I was going through my own journey that I shared, when things were really stressed, I went back to school in behavioral change, and I'm still in school for that. And I went to Yale and did a course at Yale on the science of well-being. And I looked at my own self as a guinea woman. And I created our own wheel of life, shall we say, so that now when I'm working with clients, we actually address everything, Andrew, that you just shared. And the beautiful thing of what I think you just shared is my journey is completely different than your journey. Exactly. And that I believe we serve as conduits, but once the client or end user is looking at that wheel, they already can see their blueprint of where perhaps they want to begin. And when we begin with one, we start to see the shift. We're empowered then for the next and for the next. And then what happens is that transformation of peace and well-being, and also from the exterior, if it is the weight loss, that is a byproduct of becoming centered and grounded.
Right. I really appreciate your approach to things, because it's like what I do, it's a realistic and human approach. There's too many, the one contribution that I appreciate from a world leader was the expression fake news.
Yes.
But there's something and now call it fake marketing.
Yes.
And, and it's the people that will follow trends or follow the advices of whether it's, a movie star, a rock star, or a sports person. But it doesn't work that way. It's not, wellness is not a one size fits all. It's not. Mm-hmm. You want to hear something funny? I just want to share this one little quick thing.
Sure, yes.
Discussions and so forth like this. And I know for a fact that watermelon has something in it called citronelle, I believe it is. But what it does is it helps with the nitric oxide in the body, which opens blood vessels, which means it's great for erectile dysfunction. Mm. So in one of my classes was a gentleman, and he went out and bought a bunch of watermelon, went home, and he came back and relayed to me when his wife saw him and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I heard this is great for ED." And she said, "Well, what are you going to do with it? Because you haven't spoken to me in 2 weeks, and you don't talk to me, and you never do this.
Oh.
You never do that. So do you think that that's going to make it?" And I said to the guy, "What did you think? Did you think that this was going to all of a sudden have an effect on her?"
Right.
But you have to change who you are to become that's right. Because in this way, it will become a natural inclination for both of you to want to be involved in something, because you both share things in different arenas, not just in one.
Right. Oh, right? Well said.
That goes with everything, right, Jen?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Everything. So
you're right.
Even though a food is good for something, you have to ensure that the other elements, that you're also doing your part in the other things to make you completely, at least have a decent amount of health. Not perfect, but at least decent. Right?
Well said, my friend.
It's not a magic pill. Everybody keeps looking for these magic,
I know.
This diet, that diet. let's use good sense and eat smart.
I love that.
Think
Good
about
sense.
That's
eat
it.
smart.
We used to have it before, remember?
I do, way back when. before this.
Those days, remember? There again.
I remember those old days. So Andrew, thank you so much for today. It's always such a treat. It really is, pun intended. And where can people find you on social media if they want to learn more?
Well, they can find me under Chef Andy Muto on Instagram. I think my website is, I don't know if you can see the spelling, it's Umani.
Yes.
It's funny. Umani, it means human being in Latin.
Ah.
Because I wanted to give it a name that encompassed everything. And so the human being is the human way of living, eating, enjoying relationships, and friendships.
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
Like this.
You are the epitome of the human touch, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be here, Jen. Always great to see you.
Stay safe and be well.
Ciao, everybody.